Hi, bookish friends. My name is Michelle. Welcome or welcome back. This is my channel, formerly known as Literally Me, now called Literary Me. The reason for my little change to my channel is that when I originally started, I wasn't exactly sure I was just going to go fully into booktube. It was always my intention to talk mainly about books on this channel, but I also have other hobbies that I was thinking of incorporating. So yeah, now that I know that my main focus of this whole channel is going to be books and book related content, I decided to change to Literary Me. So again, welcome if it's your first time, and welcome back if you're coming back. Today, I wanted to do a book review. This book that I read was so enjoyable. I just have to talk about it with you guys. And that book is All the Colors of the Dark by Whitaker. Now, I didn't know what to expect going in. I've never read from this author before, but I'd heard really good things. It's a pretty well publicized book. As you can see, it was a Read with Jenna selection. And in this book, we are focused on two main characters. Both of them are young people. And the first one, his name is Joseph, but he goes by the name Patch because he was born blind in one eye. Therefore, he wears an eye patch like a pirate. So he goes by Patch. He lives with his mother, Ivy, who is a drug addict, and she's progressing further and further into her disease of addiction. So he's struggling with that. He is trying to keep them afloat financially. He, after school, in the evenings, works at her job as a cleaner of businesses. She goes at night and cleans. So since she's so debilitated from her abuse of drugs, her son Patch goes to take over her work when he's not at school to help support them. The other character we focus on is a girl in the town who goes by the name of Saint. She also has been abandoned by her parents. I think one or both of them passed away. Anyway, she lives with her grandmother, Norma, and she is a highly intelligent child. She loves to be out in nature, exploring. She likes to spy on the people in the town they live in. She fancies herself an investigator, a detective of sorts. So she likes to not only find out what everyone's up to, she also likes to spy on the people in the town. And she is best friends with Patch. They've known each other since grade school. They're best friends. They understand each other like no one else. So they're a very closely bonded pair. The town that they live in is called Monte Clara in Missouri. And this setting gives me vibes of the television show Ozark, if you've ever watched that. It's very heavily forested. It's a small town, but kind of at the base of the Ozarks and very close to nature. And a lot of the scenes in here take place at dusk or at nighttime or in the dark. So I think that has something to do with the title. But anyway, it does set the atmosphere of a little bit of foreboding for things that happen in the story. So we got Patch, we've got Saint, and the townsfolk in Monte Clara. What happens is somebody among them is kidnapping teenage girls. They're going missing in regular intervals. And one day, Patch happens to witness one girl being abducted. He rushes to rescue her, to save her life. He gets her out of there, but he himself ends up being a captive of the perpetrator. While he's in captivity in this dark dirt basement type of a place, he meets another girl being held at the same time. She introduces herself to Patch as Grace. Even though that's not her real name, she just says, "Call me Grace." They hit it off. He falls desperately, madly in love with this girl. And then he manages to escape. When he goes to escape, she's nowhere to be found. She stays behind. And what happens as a result of him escaping is that he's obsessed with what happened to this girl he left behind, Grace. So he returns back to the town. He's hailed as a hero for saving the one girl, Misty, rescuing her. When he comes back, though, after being in captivity, Patch is not the same kid he was before he got captured. His personality has changed. Saint barely recognizes her best friend anymore. She's very upset by this. She doesn't know what to do. They're growing apart. And Patch is kind of developing an obsession with Grace, the girl that he left at the place he was in captivity. He can't stop thinking about her, trying to find her. He doesn't know where he was because when he escaped, it was nighttime. So he doesn't know how to get back to her, basically. Misty, the girl that he did manage to save, goes on to develop a crush on him. So we've got a triangle of Patch, who's developing an obsession for this Grace girl that may or may not still be in captivity. We've got his best friend Saint, who is developing feelings for Patch. We've also got Misty, who was rescued by Patch and is also developing a crush on him. We follow these young people as they move through junior high school and high school, all the way through graduation and into adulthood. Meanwhile, they do find out who has been abducting these girls, and an arrest is made. However, the perpetrator will not say where these girls are, if they're dead or alive, what he's done with their bodies, where they are. None of the families can get any answers. So life goes on. Patch is in school and he's working nights to help support himself and his drug-addled mother. And he's also, in his spare time, has been approached by the owner of the local art gallery, a guy named Sam, who teaches him how to paint. So Patch goes on to decide to express his obsession for this girl, Grace, through painting. He paints a portrait of her. Then he also goes on to paint portraits of all the other missing girls from the town. These are displayed in the window of the art gallery. People start to take notice. The families of the missing girls show an interest, and Patch just wants to try and find this girl he left behind named Grace that he's each passing year getting more and more obsessed with. So, as they move through the story, Saint learns to live without her best friend. She kind of moves on. She meets someone else and starts dating him. Misty and Patch, they end up dating. Not going to say too much more about what happens with them, but this story is so gripping because we've got all these storylines of this people. We've got the missing girls mystery. We've got a serial killer on the loose. We've got this enigmatic girl named Grace, who we don't know if she's a victim or if she's still alive, or if she's even a figment of Patch's imagination. But she seems very real. So anyway, then we've got the relationship drama in the town. We have Patch and his burgeoning art career that's taking off. We follow these people from their elementary school years all the way through adulthood. What is fascinating about this book is that each chapter is so short and each one ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. So it's just a page turner. Like, you just want to keep reading and find out what's happening with these people. All the people in the town are so interesting. Even the secondary characters and the tertiary characters are very interesting people. The police chief, a guy named Nix. There's a whole story brewing with him. Like, it's just incredible. It's quite a ride. What I found difficult about this book is that, and I've heard this from other people too, it takes a while to get situated in the story. Like, I had to read about 5 chapters just because of the way it was written. To me, it felt like if you were to walk into a party full of people and walk up to a group of people having a conversation and not knowing what they were talking about, it would take you a few minutes to find out, okay, this person is talking about that and this is that. That's what I had to do with this. It took me a while, like I said, to figure out context, figure out, for example, that the lady Ivy was actually Patch's mother. At first, she came across like she could have been his love interest, but so it took me a while to get situated and figure out the context and how people related to each other before the story really got going. That said, once I did get into it, I found it really hard to put down. I couldn't stop reading it. I'll just show you an example of how short the chapters are. Like, that's one chapter, a page and a half. Some chapters are 2 or 3 paragraphs long. So, and like I said, it shifts back and forth between characters. You get Patch, then you get Saint, then you get the police chief, then you get the villain, then you get the so-and-so, and it goes like that, on and on. So yeah, it was just very compelling. Like I said, each chapter ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. It was cruising right to 5-star for me. Like, I was like, I am loving this book. However, if I had to make any kind of a criticism of this book, I would say it could have been shorter. I don't think that being almost 600 pages long really served any purpose than to just kind of drag it out. So I wasn't super keen with the ending, just because for me, it felt a little bit lazy. Like, oh, okay, I thought it was going to go one way and he went another, which I wasn't really on board with. If you read this, you will know what I'm talking about. You may love the ending, for all I know. You may give it a 5 stars. To me, it was like cruising straight for 5 stars. And then I thought, well, I don't know, it could have been shorter. And the ending felt to me like Chris Whitaker just took his foot off the gas a little bit. So, and like I said, there was a little thing that I didn't really, I guess, buy into. Otherwise, this book was amazing. I gave it 4 stars. I could easily give it 4.5 stars. It was that good. So if you do pick it up, I hope you enjoy this book, All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. I would love to have someone to talk about this with. So if you have read it, please leave me a comment below. And yeah, if you haven't, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Bye.